I feel like I've been staring through a slit in some curtains, and now the curtains have been pulled apart. The solution is to engage with righteousness as much as we can, to take interest in the nature of ourselves without becoming addicted to it, where addiction is simply the conception and inclination that there is something that we need to do, for it is these inclinations that subconsciously train our bodies to function in a certain way. Again, this doesn't mean to do nothing. It means to do everything without needing to do it. And this is a huge difference, because it is not ultimately our actions that affect our state of being, it is how and why we act. The trick is to get rid of the why, and to realize that the only valid why is why not. For, as you will realize, true compassion does not arise from a why, from a duty. It comes from a why not, from a deeper inclination to do things we do not need to do. I'll explain this all more later. The solution is to stay balanced, because balance is the only state in which there is no addiction and where there is no desire to perpetuate the belief in and attachment to an ultimate or immediate reality, where we favour neither righteousness nor pleasure. It is not an intellectual thing. It is a state of being in which we do not overly stimulate our body and brain by needing to do and know too much, nor do we overly dull it by doing and knowing too little. Human existence is basically a game of risk versus reward, of how much of yourself you're willing to risk in order to get the most reward. And in order to get the maximum reward, which is liberation, you need to take the maximum possible risk without risking too much. You need to get the balance just right. And this is what I call the path of balance, or what the Buddhists call the middle way, between the extremes of addiction to righteousness and addiction to pleasure, between self-mortification and self-indulgence, asceticism and hedonism. It is the absolute middle path between them, not just slightly in the middle. You have to not be able to get any closer to righteousness without becoming addicted, and hence it is quite literally a state of non-attachment, because attachment is discrimination, and discrimination goes one way and not the other. Righteousness and striving can and should be a part of your life. It just cannot dominate your life. It must be exactly 50%. Any less, and you are too close to righteousness, you can risk more. Any more, and you are too close to pleasure, you need to risk less. But now, remember what I said about the mystical experience earlier. The idea of risk versus reward is not just about the perfection of human experience, it is about reality itself. It is why and how reality exists, and this becomes more and more clear the closer you get to this peak. This is the core of the mystical insight, and it's the thing I've been trying to rationalize for many years.